So Gail Mitchell, who has written for Billboard Magazine for years, recently did an interview with Toni on their upcoming tour and their favorite songs, including Anniversary. So anybody who knows me knows that my favorite band of all time is Morris Day and the Time. But my second favorite band has always been Toni. It Never Rains in Southern California, Anniversary, If I Had No Loot, Let's Get Down, Little Walter. The songs, it feels good. The songs are just endless. And the amazing thing is, they've been gone for so long because in the mid-90s, Raphael went off to do a solo thing. So Toni has not been a thing for years, but people still love their music, which angers me because how bad R&B music is. I thought when Her came out a few years ago, I figured, well, this is it. We need a sea change. We have gone to Cardi B and Cardi was doing her thing, but I was like, man, it's time for something different. And it was her with her playing the guitar and the drums and the keyboards. Nothing changed. We get City Girls after Her. That's what happened. So then Silk Sonic pops up. You got Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak. They won Album of the Year. Their music, it just touches your soul. And I feel like if there's ever a change for R&B to come back, it's because of Silk Sonic. Everybody loves Silk Sonic. Nothing. We get Ice Spice. Now listen, I like Ice Spice, but they're not going to be playing Ice Spice music 30 years from now like they're playing Anniversary by Toni. I don't really blame the artists. I blame the A&R people. I blame the record companies in R&B music. I could go to Latin. I could go to country. I could go to any of these genres. And you know what? Guess what I see? I see bands. I see people playing instruments. And when it comes to R&B, they say stuff like, well, it costs too much money to play band members. It doesn't seem to bother country. It doesn't seem to bother Latin music. They use bands all the time. You see, young white kids who are country fans grow up watching people playing guitars and drums. They do. So there's that instrumentation inside them. Even rock, even though rock is not the biggest form of music right now, you still see people picking up guitars. Taylor Swift plays guitar. So I'm mad at the people who runs R&B music because when I go to TikTok, there are some amazing instrumental people on there. There's people who play keyboards and harps and cellos and guitars. And then you have people who actually really sing. They have soulful voices. I get none of that. Yeah, we got some people around here. We got Ari Lennox, Summer Walker, who can sing pretty good. But for the most part, there are no Tonys. So I implore parents, buy a cheap guitar. Like, you know what? When I was in Phoenix a few months ago, I saw somebody was selling a guitar, right? Now, again, it's a cheap guitar, but it plants the seed. We got to get our kids playing instruments again. If your kid wants to play drums, you can't afford a drum. There's drum pads. Drumsticks are cheap. Buy some cheap drumsticks, get the kid a drum pad, and they can bang on that and say, listen, one day we'll get you some drums, but you need to learn the basics. There's tons of tutorials on how to play instruments on YouTube. R&B needs instruments again. Our genre is dying. Now, Dwayne Wiggins mentioned at the end of the video here, he mentioned that, R&B isn't dead. Like there's some things still going on, but there's nobody we can name. Listen, Toni are in their 50s, right? So they're going on tour. Maybe they'll put on an album, but most likely it's probably like Sting and the Police, where Sting went on tour with the Police like a decade ago, and it was kind of one-off thing. I feel like that's what's going to happen with Toni. I don't feel like they're going to be back together again, nor should they, right? They had their time in the sun. They did great music, but we need our new Toni. These kids need their own Toni. So that's my feeling. So watch the videos on YouTube. Gail Mitchell, great job interviewing Toni for Billboard. Give me your 3 favorite Toni songs, and catch you later.